Before I begin, I just want to say how much I appreciate you being here. If this story resonates with you in any way, consider supporting the channel and sharing your thoughts. I read every message, and your encouragement truly keeps this space alive. When Claire told me she'd be flying to Florida for her annual family trip, I didn't question it. Her relatives made a tradition of renting a beach house every summer, sunburned shoulders, grilled seafood, loud laughter spilling into warm evenings. I even drove her to the airport myself. She hugged me tightly, promised we'd talk every night, and smiled in that gentle way that once made all my doubts disappear. Still, something flickered behind her eyes, something that didn't match her affection. I convinced myself it was just my imagination. The first couple of days seemed ordinary. She sent pictures of orange sunsets melting into the ocean, her father flipping burgers, her niece building crooked sandcastles. Yet her texts felt rehearsed, brief, almost mechanical. On the third evening, she didn't call. The following morning, a short message arrived. Sorry, fell asleep early. That uneasy feeling in my chest deepened. Trust between us had already been thinning. She'd been staying late at work, guarding her phone like it held state secrets, wearing perfume I didn't recognize. I had noticed. I had simply chosen not to see. Then everything unraveled. 2 days later, her sister Lily mistakenly shared a photo in the family group chat, a cheerful beach selfie. Everyone was there, smiling under the sun. Everyone except one unexpected presence. In the background, partially concealed by a striped umbrella, stood Evan, Claire's coworker. I'd met him once at a company dinner. Too charming, too comfortable around her. I enlarged the image. There he was, unmistakable, in swim trunks beside my wife's lounge chair. In that instant, clarity replaced doubt. She hadn't gone on a wholesome family vacation. She had orchestrated a romantic escape, using her relatives as camouflage. I didn't confront her. I didn't demand explanations. I simply stared at the screen as the truth settled over me like ash. Years of shared plans, mortgage payments, anniversaries, whispered promises, collapsed quietly in my mind. The late meetings, the sudden need for space, the emotional distance that all aligned with brutal precision. This wasn't a spontaneous mistake. It was a carefully edited version of our marriage, rewritten without my consent. That evening, instead of rage, I felt something colder, focus. I opened my laptop and began separating our lives. Joint bank accounts were closed. Credit cards canceled. Utilities transferred. By morning, I had contacted my attorney and instructed him to initiate divorce proceedings. I left my house key on the kitchen counter with a single note. No explanations necessary. I know. Then I packed my belongings and drove away without a farewell. Silence can say more than anger ever could. 3 days later, she texted. Is everything okay? Haven't heard from you. I didn't respond. I imagined her returning home from the airport, perhaps still holding Evan's hand, expecting life to resume as usual. Instead, she walked into an empty house. Closets cleared, my side of the bed untouched, the note waiting. Her messages multiplied rapidly. Please talk to me. It's not what you think. And then the one that sealed it. Who told you? That question was confession enough. She called my family, my friends, even my workplace. She portrayed herself as confused and abandoned. But I had already blocked every path she could use to reach me. I wasn't seeking revenge. I was seeking peace. And peace required distance. A week later, Lily phoned. Her voice trembled. She admitted everything, she said. Evan was there. Our mom found out and forced him to leave. Claire's falling apart. I listened quietly. Lily added, almost in a whisper, you were right to walk away. After we hung up, I sat alone, feeling the sting of betrayal transform into something steadier, final acceptance. Months passed. I relocated to Denver, embraced a new job, a smaller apartment, a simpler life. Occasionally, long emails from Claire appear in my inbox, filled with regret, blaming stress, loneliness, bad decisions. I never open them. Some chapters close more cleanly when you refuse to reread them. About a year later, I heard through mutual friends that Evan had left her. Apparently, he'd moved on to someone else. Claire now lived alone, still revisiting what might have been. I didn't feel satisfaction. I felt freedom. People often think retaliation means inflicting pain. But sometimes the most powerful response is absence. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I simply removed myself from the life she had already stepped out of. When she returned from what was supposed to be a harmless family getaway, expecting familiarity and comfort, all she encountered was emptiness and the undeniable consequence of her own choices. For me, that quiet ending was more than enough.